Hey, we've got a temporary general assistant in at the moment, and he came up to see me about cutting some timber for him. And I said, I could do it later on today, just leave it in the classroom. And that's what he's left me. He just needs them split dead down the centre, which I can do, but I'm going to have to move that table behind the table saw to support those as they go through. All the other tables are too high, but this big one is low enough. That's a bigger job than I anticipated. Anyway. That was a job I should have considered a little bit more before saying yes to. All done. That stuff is so twisted and warped, and a lot of tension. That very first one had a lot of tension in it, would not go through the blade. That's why I ended up dropping the blade just above halfway, running it through on both sides. Much better option. And when you see how warped and twisted some of those boards are, it's a good job that I did it instead of the GA. So this is what year 9 is doing. Gosh, I've been windblown outside. This is the little stool. This is the one that has, if I can remember right, traditional mortise and tenons on this end, domino joints on this end, and then these ones are dowels. So dowels going into the shorter rails. And this got glued up on last Wednesday. It's now Monday. Drilling for the screws, they had to drill there and then counterbore so that the screw head can go up there and screw into the base of the seat. So that's my one. It's the first time I've gotten one done with a class in a while. Next time I've got year 9 it's not until Friday. Another student with a little end frame there, 2 there. These are ready to be glued up. They just clamped them so that they were all okay. This particular student, one of the girls in the class, she somehow got this bottom rail mixed up. So top of the frames are all okay, but the bottom rails were just a little bit out. And so instead of doing this rail this way, she's done hers this way. So it lines up closer to the bottom of this side and nearer to the top on this side, but it's parallel with the floor. And it was good that she coped with that well. Some kids go, "Bah, job stuffed, had enough of it, not doing anything with it now." When she realised her stool would still work, it would still be sturdy and strong, and I said to her, it's just a change in design. You've just a difference in your design, and an alteration. They'll get those glued up next week on Friday. So it's been raining a fair bit, and there's a few big bamboo shoots up next to the truck. There's a whole stack of it springing up in here. So I'm going to have to dig down and see if I can grab the runners for that. You look down in the yard. That means the runners are right over to here. But down there, You probably can't see it in amongst the fruit trees. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can see about 10 shoots coming up around that. And there's probably about 30 just down in that section. And then just here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Big one just there. 18, 19. That'll probably be a job for this coming weekend. Throw my back brace on. Put on some gloves, grab the mattock and go for it. Exploring. Exploring. Thought I'd bring him out before it got dark, and I decided to walk down this way and just count how many bamboo shoots are coming up. And so between there, between that end of the yard, just this side of the retaining wall and bottom corner, 186 new shoots. Some of those are only like a couple of inches tall, so they will probably spring up like these sort of things. You see those, and then there's these little ones. That 187 included those. So by the weekend, they will be sprung up a bit more. But there's, like I said, 187 of them. I'll come out here with my back brace on because my back's giving me hell at the moment. And bad sciatic pain down my leg. But I'll throw my back brace on and I'll just come down here with a mattock and chop them off below ground level. And if I can get any runners up at the same time, I'll do that. And the fact that we've had a fair bit of rain over the last week, the ground should be nice and soft, and I might be able to get a fair bit of that pulled up at the same time. If I could chop out all of these small ones, chop them all out and chuck them straight into the green waste bin. Love watching him explore down here. This is really the first time they've ever been able to get down this part of the yard. 230, 240 brand new bamboo shoots. I've tried poisoning it. My uncle, when I first cut it all out, he said, if you cut it and leave a bit of the tube, then you can put Roundup into the tube and that'll kill it down into the roots. But the problem is all the stuff on the other side of the fence is so healthy that it's just sending more runners under. And the fact that they're like, some of those are springing up halfway across the yard, so they've travelled. What's our block? Our block's about 18, 19 metres wide. So these things are about 9.5 metres, between 27, 30 feet. Some of those runners are that long. Oh, ridiculous. Righto, just finished up with Year 9. Had Year 11 this morning doing project planning, trying to get some drawing design ideas going for their major projects. Year 9, and a couple of kids get their frames glued up. This one here and one over there. This one, he was having a lot of hard time trying to get it glued up. And as it turns out, looked like he'd put a little bit too much glue in some of the dowel joints, and so they were acting like pistons and forcing out, and when we finally got this side clamped up, it started to split the wood because of the pressure from the glue in the hole. But it's glued up, and I also showed him the idea of, and with the other student as well, the idea of using the clamps on a bit of an angle here can help pull your frames square while they dry. Because they started clamping them up and they were had a little bit of a rock on them, and so like this one, you can see it's just off horizontal, and that was enough to get the rock out of it. This one here had a massive rock, and it doesn't have one now, so we'll see how they are when they taken out of the clamps. I've got them Monday, so they don't have to wait as long for that information. Other stuff in this room, you can see behind there, Year 7 are doing like a Future Cities unit, and that's the way they set out for their cities, and they're 3D printing and laser cutting little buildings and houses and using robot cars to follow the black road that you can see across the back of it. That's something that a couple of my other staff are working on. Out in our little courtyard, my Year 9s continued working on that table, got a few more slats onto each one. We've got 4 slats still in here, so there's a few to go onto these 2 seats. There's a couple of large ones, long ones missing, so I might have to try and find something that I can recut for those. But otherwise, that kept some of them organised.